Alright then boys, today we are back at work. Laura's gone back to work, she's back in the office. Obviously her own job office. I'm back in my office, which is just that bedroom. Kind of feels weird, to be honest. I went for my morning walk and whatnot, like normal. It's dead out, because it's still basically Christmas. It's not like, it's still before New Year. I'm not used to working in this bit. I normally used to work like Boxing Day, back when I was in a supermarket. But like otherwise, I haven't worked in the middle of the thing, and it kind of still feels like Christmas. So I'm struggling to like get into it, but I've got a lot of like errands I need to run. So I feel like I'm going to do all the errands and then get onto it, if that makes sense. So I've had my walk, I've like sorted out videos, then I'm ready to rock and roll. I need to do a wash, hoping that the clothes on this area are starting to like dry-ish. I might have to force the heating on just to like, I might say wait just a little bit longer on doing the wash. What else do I need to do? I need to return something that I bought Dad that isn't as good as I thought it would be. There's my return labels. I need to get a battery for my car key. Lots of stuff, you know, lots of stuff, and it's all getting in the way of work. So I'm going to try and like clear that job so that I can do work. Kind of like concentrated full-time work style thing, you know? But like this is the biggest like disadvantage of working from home. When you've like taken time off, which I probably shouldn't have taken as much time off as I have anyway. It takes a lot of effort to come back because, you know, I've not gone anywhere. I'm not going back to work and I'm being forced to work. I'm just kind of, so anyway, I need to really concentrate on just clearing out all the jobs, and then I think from that point on my head will be like in the zone, you know. So I'm going to do all my jobs, I'm going to do the wash, and then I'll go to the shops to see if the car fob place is open. And then it might be lunchtime. So like I'm going to try and like clear the odd jobs by lunchtime, and then roll from there. Looking for scissors. I need to make the effort to gel my hair a little bit more and not just slob about. Right, so I've got my post to go take to the post office. I don't know about it, is because it's got like this, they told me to put this like warning sticker on it, which is unnecessary because there isn't a battery in it. I don't understand. I mean, it's a wireless charger, but it's not got batteries. You plug it in. So maybe wireless chargers count. I feel like it's just been miscategorized by the people at Amazon though. But it complicates things because now I've got to like, it's complicated. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my key to the key fob place because they should be open. If they are going to be open, they'll be open now. The heating's on, the washing's in. I'm going to come back, have a cup of tea, put the washing out, have some lunch. Well, no, probably get some work done, then have lunch. We're on ball, boys. We're on the ball. Back. The good news is there was no problem with the post office, so that's sorted. Got the car key fob as well. I can unlock and lock the car now from wherever I want on the street, so that's nice as well. Cup of tea, gonna put the dry washing away and then get that wash out and hopefully have enough space left to dry it. I'm running the heating today just to really make sure that it's dry, and then I'm gonna have to get used to getting cold again. Sad times. We've ordered some more. We've run out of logs for our fire. We've ordered some from a like proper log place. We normally just get them from like B&Q. But from a proper log place, they work out a lot cheaper. You've just got to buy them by a significant load. And I'm picturing a box. It's going to come, I think, on Thursday. I think Laura's in, which is good. So I'm picturing a really fucking heavy sack. I'm going to have to drag through the house and put outside. It's going to be great. Really looking forward to that. It's going to be so much fun. But then we don't have to be half as frugal with our fire usage, which Laura is going to be very thankful for. Is the Nexus down here? No, it's not. After this, I really need to start focusing on emails again. I've got like, there's a load of emails I want to send. I'm having like a bit of a flourish, if you will, in the new year, but like kind of mid-January. I've got a lot of emails already written. I've got to write a couple more, just get ahead of the game, and then we can just like send emails for days, mate. Try and get ourselves some clients. So like every year I get slippers for Christmas, right? They're great, I love them. Last year I got these ones. This year I got these ones. Why aren't I wearing the new ones? Because I don't want to put my feet in them and like press down. They're all so soft and warm and like thick, you know, and like warm and chunky. And I know as soon as I put them on, they're gonna start get to the point where they're all like treaded down, and you can like feel, you know, when you can feel like the imprint of your foot in the fluff, where like there's part of it where like your instep doesn't press down as hard as the rest of it, and like you feel the heel. That's what it's gonna turn into, and I don't want to do it. Same as well. Laura's got me some new. I got some new socks. Laura got me some new pants. I'm not wearing them. Why? Because I don't want to wear them. I don't want to ruin them. It's fucking weird, isn't it? Whenever I buy new stuff, I never use it. So I like it being new, you know? And, God damn it, it won't stay new forever. If I wear it, you know? Woohoo, man. Right, let's have some little chocolates, little chocky chocks, and then we'll get back to some more work. I've been doing a little bit of programming, catching back up to where I was. I'm not far off finishing the thing that I was doing. I've got to make a bit of a decision about whether or not how to get the data I've just generated out of the microservice into the other microservices. But yeah, that's where we're at, boys. That's where we're at. I'm going to switch gears and do some emails for a bit. Probably think about that on my walk this evening, because I think I need to swing by a shop to buy some deodorant, but otherwise, because we're going to shopping tonight, so I go to another shop because it's a lot cheaper than Sainsbury's for deodorant and stuff like that, toiletries and the like. But yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm enjoying getting back into it though. It took me a while, but I'm there now, you know. Migrating downstairs to do a little bit of work while I wait for Laura. Laura isn't going to the gym today on Monday. Also, she's in work, but like, surely she's not doing it. So I'm expecting her to come back at a reasonable time. At a reasonable clip. Hopefully so anyway, because we need to go to like the counters for we're getting a curry for New Year's Eve, which is tomorrow, holy fuck. And I really cannot be asked to go on my own tomorrow during the day. I'd rather not do that. So hopefully she gets back relatively quickly. Otherwise, we've had productive. We've gone for a walk in the evening. I didn't need to go for a walk in the evening because like I went for a walk around lunchtime to do all my errands and shit. But trying to get back into the habit, you know, trying to get back into rhythm. That's what I need, rhythm. All right then, boys. I think it's story time. Should we have time for story time, boys and girls? Let's talk about my trip to London last week. That was interesting, wasn't it? I kind of said I'd tell you about it and haven't, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So I was contacted at the beginning of December by someone who works for a company saying that they are expanding into Bristol and that they'd have a lot of opportunities as they do that expansion. And would I be interested? And I looked into the company, and the company I won't name them, but the company has a very similar ethos to what I would do with Varialis. Like they are effectively Varialis with traction without Red Spider. Now that's semi-interesting because the things I would generate out of Varialis is to build Red Spider. It's not a point onto itself. At least that's not my intention at the moment. So it's not like I'd love to do, wait, hang on. Let's word that differently. I built Varialis to build Red Spider. They've built Varialis under a different name and they were doing it quite well on its own, you know? So, but that's the means to its end rather than my way where it's it's being done to build something else. So I was like, I looked into them and I'm like, well, if I can, I kind of spun this guy a bit, and I'm like, if I could like get contacts at this company and figure out how you do what you do, then I could do what I do better, right? So it's like, if this company is basically me, if I find out how they're selling themselves, then I can sell myself. That was my logic. But then as I kind of went through the process, they came back and they were like, right, we are building up a thing, an opportunity in Bristol. Would you like a telephone interview, blah, blah, blah. So take a telephone interview, get to the end of it. I often find that it's a lot easier to get conversations with people when they want to hire you. And then when you get to the end of the interview and they're like, so have you got any questions? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Bam! And then flip over a thing and ask a load of questions. But as I went through like the interview process, like, the idea kind of interested me. obviously this is kind of poignant moving into the new year. But obviously, like, I was expecting it to be a lot easier to do what I'm doing with Varialis than it's turned out to be. I struggled with it quite a bit. I've had to pivot a couple of times and try different things. So like part of me has been thinking in Christmas, been like, why have you had to pick the hard way? Why have you decided to do things so complicated? Why can't you just be that guy who goes and works for a bank and has shit ton of money for no real like stuff, you know? So I'm like kind of on a weak point to a certain extent mentally. I think that's also because like December in general is quite slow compared to the previous months, like November and October, which were quite like with like networking and stuff. So I was interested, let's say. And I went to the job interview and they're really nice. I really like them all. They've got like a really good, like I say, a really good ethos. And the job opportunity is really interesting because they're building a team in Bristol and they would have effectively want someone to build that team. It literally felt like going to a company that had the money that I didn't have to build a version of Varialis, which I would build anyway. And I'd be at the point where it's being built. Like, yes, you're being defended by a company that exists, although it's a small company, a company that exists. Like, it's teams that I would have a really strong input in how like the Bristol office was to move forward. I was really interested in it. And the two things I was also really interested in is that they had like flexible, because I wasn't going to give up on RadSpider. I was thinking, could I go back to what I did before, which was work on RadSpider part-time and then kind of drop all of the other stuff that I'm doing to try and support it. So because effectively I am developing RadSpider part-time, even though it's not, it's way over. It's full-time. But anyway, and then still get money in. And the money was good. It was a 20% increase on my last job. And they did flexible days and hours and stuff. So in theory, I could work for 3 or 4 days a week and earn what I earned at my previous jobs, but only 3 or 4 days a week. And I was like, I am in on this. And I'm like kind of a bit split on, am I splitting myself the wrong way? Am I like spreading myself too thinly? Am I quitting too early? It was such a shit decision to have to make. But yeah, so I went to the job interview in London, came back, had another conversation with them before Christmas as well. And yeah, so they came back with a job offer, but they couldn't do, especially in the early stages of setting up Bristol, which I totally understand, they couldn't do the flexible time in advance. I wanted to rewrite my contract effectively to be 4-day week with flexibility to go up rather than a 5-day week with flexibility to go down. But they weren't in a position to do that. So I had to turn them down. Which I said, like, as I've been pondering it all Christmas, because like the offer came in Christmas Eve. But I got to the point where like I told them my position. I didn't want to go, I'm not in a position to go back for a full-time job. I don't need to. Like the job was really interesting, but it's not worth quitting what I'm building, you know? And like, I'm not desperate for money. I spent about 1/3 of my savings so far. So I'm doing really well, effectively. And I feel like I'm just getting traction. And it was such a shit position to be in, to be like, oh, you have to make a decision. Whoops. Just dropping my hot water bottle, boys. Such a like shit place to be in where I'm like trying to figure out which way to go. It was something that if in 5 months' time nothing's changed, I'd have snapped their hand off. I'd have been like, I would fucking love to. But yeah, so that was what the deal was. This is an old hot water bottle. That's not bad. It's not bad to be fair. So yeah, I thought I'd let you in on that little insight in my little head, just how close I came to doing something a little bit different. I still learned a lot from them. Like I went to the interview thing being like, at the very least, I'm gonna learn how these people tick. So I still feel like I came out of it with something like valuable, you know. It wasn't like an absolute waste of time. And it's a good confidence kick that I could get something like that. Because part of me is like, if I was hiring I did a lot of hiring at my previous place. If I was hiring and I got a CV through like mine, what would I think? Like, because a part of the entrepreneurship thing is that you don't like having a boss, right? That's like the cliche. But you're also someone who is like really passionate and clearly cares about stuff and is willing to throw everything at it. And you're someone who's learned a lot about like business in general, not just software development, because you've had to go and do all of that stuff yourself. And you would consider things like budget and things like that just way more than a standard developer would. So it was a good like confidence kick. I learned a lot, but unfortunately it didn't work out. But over Christmas I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. And I kind of just went, because they gave me an offer and I'm like, I don't want to accept a full-time job yet. I'm not at a wit's end, so I'm not desperate. And I don't think there were like some downsides to it. It's not like perfect. I could find something similar to this, but the one thing it does have going for it is it's flexible. So I was like, let's go back with a counter offer of the flexibility that I want. And then at that point, it's up to them. If they decline that, then happy days. Also, if they accept that, happy days, you know? But yeah, I think I was kind of joking with Laura and like Dan and that lot. It is one of those decisions that turning it down, I'll regret. And accepting it, I would regret. Within 2 weeks, within like a month, I'd probably regret accepting it. And immediately after declining it, I regretted it. So it was a case of like, whichever I picked was correct, whichever I didn't pick, I wish I'd taken, you know? So, but yeah, I thought I'd let you in on that little debacle. I apologise for this horrendous camera angle, because I'm trying to carry my hot water bottle and tea up the stairs. But yeah, so, no more secrets as to about that thing. But obviously I couldn't tell you about that as if I'm up to date with videos, which I'm obviously not. But I couldn't tell you about that at the time because I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, you know? I initially went in being like, I'm going to glean as much information as I possibly can from these guys to, damn it, this is actually quite good. But yeah, cup of tea. Gonna get back into some development stuff. I've almost finished this really big user story I was talking about. For the past month I've been working on it. It's nearly done. I've just got to register the final bit of information with the last saga, and then we're set. And then I can merge it, and then I need to worry about how to actually run the analysis on these things that I've just generated. That's going to be fun, because that's when like 3 other microservices have to get involved, including some cloud functions. Oh boy, that's going to be tasty. I'm going to need that whiteboard for that boink. But yeah, New Year's Eve today. Doesn't feel like New Year's Eve because I'm working. I don't normally work over Christmas, but Laura's at work and she doesn't normally work either. She's off though for the next 3 days, for the rest of the week after today. So I'm really not sure how the next couple of days are going to look, to be honest. But she's got a lot of uni work to do. She's got exams and stuff to revise for, which is why she's got the time off. Oh God, this hot water bottle is lovely and warm. So I have an issue now. I've finished this chunk of work and I just pushed it up to the build server to do the PR. And my laptop almost consistently fails on a certain test. And it fails at setup. And obviously the setup is, I set up all the mocks, and during that initial setup of the mocks, something errors and the mocking framework throws an exception. Obviously that constructor is called for every single test that I've run in that class, but there's only one test that ever fails. So I need to figure out which test is running before it, because the chances are that there's some kind of bleed going over. But like, trying to diagnose this problem is a bitch. Because I've currently got, I've got NCrunch running, running in endless churn mode. So it's just rapidly running through all of the tests to try and find the one that intermittently fails. Obviously I know what it is, and it just can't. They're all passing all the time. And I don't know how to fix this. Maybe I should pull out my laptop. If it's easier to replicate on my laptop, it'll be easier. But there's nothing worse than intermittent issues, and this is a threading issue. during test run. But like XUnit is designed for that not to happen. Oh, god damn, it's gonna be next to impossible to replicate. Alright, let's get my laptop, see if my laptop can rep it. For now, man, it's flipping cold in this house. I can't get to the bottom of this problem. It's something to do with the fact that how NSubstitute works, which is the mocking framework I have, it uses static state. In fact, I want to use this mug again. Static state to manage the mocks, and something there is going wrong as all the tests are running. So like, it's really hard. It's really hard to figure out because obviously it's intermittent, which means the ones that have tested, the ones that are failing, it's being caused by another test. I can semi-regularly replicate it on my laptop by running .NET test, and I can isolate it to like 4 classes, 4 test classes. If I run a test in, oh no, not 4, more than that. But if I run those ones, then an error will occur. But I can't for the life of me source it. It's doing my nutting. Anyway, it's lunchtime. Oh, it's so cold. I might have to put the heat on, man. I'm frozen. My thick hoodie on at the very least, boys. The very bloody least. Is that Laura? Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? We had a pretty chilled out evening last night. Oh, look at that. You fit perfectly on my new mug. We just went to, we didn't have it, well, we stayed in and had a curry ready meal thing from Sainsbury's. You get it from like the delicatessen area. Lovely. So we just had that and then just sat in and watched films until midnight and then went to bed. Crazy. So yeah, we normally do something with Beth and Ben, but they were busy. I think they were up north still. So we had no mates. So instead, we just had New Year's at home, like old people. So I guess we're officially old. Otherwise, though, today we had like a bank holiday day between the two of us. Laura was off. We went for a walk along the beach. Just drove to a local beach and just walked down it. It was great. We kind of thought it was going to be a bit wet because as we were driving there, I had to have the windscreen wipers on. But it was dry when we got there, so it was fine. But it was pretty cold. So yeah, we just had a walk up and down the beach. As a new calendar's a Harry Potter calendar as well. And I was like, it's because we get it from her family. We've got to find something that's not too girly, that we both like, and we've both been to Harry Potter World, so therefore, there we go. But yeah, otherwise we've just been chilling at home. I've been working on stuff. I've fixed my issues with, do you remember me saying my NSubstitute mocks were breaking? I've fixed them by replacing the ones that failed with mock MOQ. I should piecemeal go through the whole thing and change it all to mock, but I just don't have time for that. But yeah, it's to do with the way that NSubstitute uses statics to track stuff. It's not very good. And the problem is there's an issue with one of my tests, which is causing issues in other tests because it's not like clearing up after itself properly. And I don't know what it is. I can't find it out for the life of me. I tried like loads of diagnostic stuff and I just gave up and replaced the ones that failed with mock. So happy days. So hopefully that problem won't come back. I've raised a PR. I need to run it through, make sure it works, number one. And then, although to be fair, the unit tests I've done in this area are quite aggressive in the sense that if the messages can get on the bus, it'll work. I'm pretty confident about that. But I need to run it through, make sure it works, and then I need to wrap my head around how to get it analysing. So that's the next step. So I've got PR to do tomorrow, a load of fun programming, a load of fun planning stuff to do, and just run it through once. Which is going to be a bit faffier than you'd imagine. But I'll hack together a fix to make it work. Otherwise though, let's talk New Year's resolutions. I always do New Year's resolutions. Not done. I did actually do quite well for the last ones. So I think my last year it was something like make money, which I did, for loosely speaking, and some other stuff. The one thing I didn't do was do a talk. So that's sad. my two ones this year, two big ones, is I want to take more of an active role in like social media stuff for developer things. So I want to be able to effectively make a name for myself in the development area. That's my number one thing that I want to do. No, well, that's number two. So I want to be more active on social media, but also kind of like professionalize it a little bit. I'm probably going to start weaning off of these videos at some point soon. And then maybe shift into something a little bit more professionally focused rather than what I currently have. The one thing I don't know is how I manage having like an outlet, because I'm used to just having something I can turn on the camera and blabble to. Maybe I could do that without uploading it. I don't know. But yeah, use social media a bit more and also more professionally to try and make a name for myself outside of this circle that we have here. And number one, and most importantly, is I want to, if what I'm doing fails, I don't want to be in a position where I think if I worked harder, I could have done it. I basically want, if Varialis or Radspider fails in any way, shape or form, I want it to fail because it was just impossible. Like and that means like I'm building something that can't be sold or whatever, or I made a decision that was the wrong choice and therefore it failed, you know. But what I didn't do was not do anything, you know. So I'm not like it has to work. I'm saying that like if I do something and make a decision and actually it turns out that that previous decision was probably the better decision, that's fine. But what I can't do is get to the end of the year and think, if I just worked harder, it would have worked. So, yeah. Basically, I've said to people before, like the hardest thing about working for yourself is you never know, you flip-flop between thinking you work too hard and thinking you don't work hard enough. I'm not having that flip-flop this year. It's you've worked too hard. That's it. That's the only line. That's my target. So it's just throw absolutely everything at it, you know? Let's keep this video going, boys. We've started off the first working day of the new year to a cracking start, ladies and gentlemen. Also, Laura's pissed off. Laura doesn't like a smart connected home because instead of just turning the lamp on like a normal person, you've got to go, hey Google, turn the lamp on. I mean, she listens to you from the other room. I mean, like, come on, that's great. And your phone would do it as well. But anyway, she doesn't like that, so good. Turning that off. we have it, so we could turn the... Literally, the only reason we have smart plugs is one, so we can turn the Christmas tree on, because otherwise you have to go underneath the Christmas tree to get to the plug. And two, to turn the lamp on when we're not here, so it looks like we're here. I've been chipping through. It's not been, well, I haven't done a lot of programming per se. What I did was, finished my code review for what I did yesterday. Made some minor changes, ran it, made sure it worked, made some minor changes to make sure it worked, so some config issues. Since I'd added encryption, so I'm encrypting some custom fields. Like the database is encrypted, but I'm manually encrypting fields so that only the apps know about them. Within the encryption, it's a bit wild. Actually, there's one bit where I compress it, then encrypt it, and then encrypt it at the database layer as well. It's mad. Hopefully I don't lose any data during that. It's fine, don't worry about it. Otherwise, I've been generating some emails, doing a lot of organisation stuff. I did a load of planning today to figure out basically for the next sprint, what I'm going to be doing next, and also because technically like it's Friday tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, I could pull something forward, but I'm probably going to be doing some update stuff over the next couple of days. It's been very productive. It's been pretty good. Laura's been working from home. She's been doing revision stuff for her exam next week. I think she's been struggling because I'm so like in it, you know. I can do the work from home thing, no problem now. I was like, bang, I'm in all day, solid. And I was like, I'm a bit bored. Also, revision is way more boring than what I'm doing. I did something else as well. Planning. Oh yeah, no, planning, and I did all the architecture stuff for the next bit. I was struggling a little bit because I couldn't figure out a way of doing it. I was like kind of making the wrong microservice in charge of kicking something off. and it should kick it off, but it shouldn't, just because it's got to kick it off doesn't mean it should do it. So it raises an event that another microservice then does, and I've just got to do a little bit of work to make sure that's done, but it makes it much simpler. Arguably I'm bleeding one little bit of information across, but I want this service to not really know that service is there until it's finished. That's the dream, because then I can have multiple of those services or multiple different services that do different things. Expansion and scale is all important to me. But yeah, it's good going. It's good going, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm going to end this video because it's getting pretty long. Not that I'm going to be doing a lot of vlogging for the next couple of days, but you never know. Yeah, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later.